A big hi to all of you. Hopefully you're faring well with your networking journey in this COVID period. Now, one of the biggest innovations that have so far been made at layer 2 is the introduction or the creation of a technology that is known as VLAN. Simply put, virtual local area networks. So, today in this video together with me, Joseph, we're going to explore more about VLANs. Okay, it's a technology that has made it possible that even though you might have PC0, PC2, PC3 physically connected onto the same switch, you have the capacity to differently manage each of them as if they are on a different switch. So you logically are able or are possible to separate the operations of each of these pieces even though they are connected on a single switch. VLANs present a lot of advantages. For example, they reduce on the broadcast domain. You remember that every VLAN is equal to a subnet of its own, and it is also equal to a broadcast domain of its own. So in a way of reducing the broadcast domains, it improves the efficiency of the switch, and at the same time it improves on the security management when it comes to implementing security at level 2. So here's the topology we are going to be using for this coming number of tutorials and series to come. So this is a PC which is in VLAN 10, and VLAN 10 is going to be called students within a network of 192.168.10.0/24. Then PC2 is in VLAN 20 and PC3 is in VLAN 30. So we are first of all going to deal on this switch. After this switch, we shall make a transition and come to this other switch. Hold with me as you go along the journey. Alright, let the action begin. Okay, so here is the PC I am going to be using for remote purposes, for management purposes. And I'll be shifting this console cable to this other switch when time comes for us to shift to this other switch. However, as of now, allow me to connect these pieces to the switch, and I'll pick a few cables down here. So let's connect this to fast Ethernet 1, and allow me connect this to fast Ethernet 0/5. I'll tell you the reason later as we go on why I've left those few ones. And I'm connecting this to fast Ethernet 0/ put this to 10. Okay, so I am now going into this switch, and we check out the VLAN status information about within this switch. So let's go over here to this PC, and definitely we head over to the desktop terminal, the desktop tab. Okay, where are you? Okay, here it is. So we go to the desktop, and I come over to the terminal, and I say okay. So I'm now onto my switch. Okay, so and now let's move over to the global, to the privileged mode. And over here, I know very well that this is where you check the running configurations within your switch. So I can run show commands over here. So if you come and say show VLAN brief, please, we shall be using this so much because this will always be telling us the VLAN information we are having on the switch. Please don't forget that we always put VLANs onto the switch. We don't configure VLANs on a router. Okay, that's a point worth noting. So as you can see right now, we are having just one VLAN, and its VLAN ID is VLAN 1, and its name is default, and it is having all the ports from FA0/1 all the way to FA0/24 with the gigabit interfaces also inclusive. That is gigabit 0/1 and gigabit 0/2. Now, what is our goal? Our goal is we're going to be introducing in here new VLANs. Then we shall be assigning these different ports to those new VLANs that you've created. Okay. Now, this is stored into the VLAN database, and currently what is before you is the VLAN database, like you can see right now. Okay, so for us to create a new VLAN in our switch, we definitely do that from the global configuration mode. So for us to go to the global configuration mode, you know very well that we say conft or configure terminal, and then from there we can go ahead and create a VLAN of our choice. For example, let me begin by creating VLAN 10. So we simply say VLAN, then leave a space, put the ID of the VLAN. So for example, the ID of VLAN 10 is 10. So we hit enter, and it takes us into the config VLAN mode. Okay, so inside the config VLAN mode, then you can give VLAN 10 a name by simply saying name, and I'm calling this student or students. Let me call that VLAN students, and I press enter. So then I can exit and do the same for the remaining two VLANs, that is VLAN 20 and VLAN 30. So from the global configuration mode, I say VLAN 20, and then I say a name. I give it a name, and I'm calling this faculty. So I'll be putting the faculty members inside that VLAN. I press enter, then I can exit, and then I create the last for now, that is VLAN 30, and I'm calling it a name of guest. Let's call it guest. Okay, so right now I have created my three VLANs, that is VLAN 10, 20 and 30. If you want to prove that, I can exit, or I can simply press Ctrl+C to go back to the privileged mode, and I say show VLAN brief, and I hit enter. Right now you can see that I'm having VLANs 10, 20 and 30 added into my VLAN database of my switch. Now, after me introducing in these VLANs, it is again my role to assign these VLANs the respective interfaces onto which I want them to belong to. Okay, right now you can see that all of our interfaces are under VLAN 1, as you can see here. But now what I'm going to do is I am going to assign interfaces from fast Ethernet 0/1 to fast Ethernet 0/3. I'm going to assign it to VLAN 10, those interfaces to VLAN 10. Then I'll assign interfaces from FA0/5, FA0/8 to VLAN 20. Then I'll assign FA0/10 to 13. I'll assign both to VLAN 30. So instead of me picking one interface after another, let me come back over here, my PC, where I'm doing the management from. Then I'm going to go back to the global configuration mode. If we want to assign a VLAN to a particular or to specific interfaces on our switch, I can select all of them at the same time. For example, I can come and I say interface range. Then I'm selecting a range of FA0/1. I said dash to 3. So I've selected interfaces FA0/1 to 3. So all the commands that I'm going to put in here will be impacting FA0/1 to 3. So first of all, I have to make these into access ports. By default, these ports are in dynamic mode. So I first of all need to convert them into the access mode by simply saying switch port, then I say mode, then I say access. Okay, after saying switch port mode access, then I can come and I say switch port, then access VLAN. Let us say that is access VLAN 10. Then I hit enter. So you see that, for example, this member who is in VLAN, who is on interface fast Ethernet 0/1, currently has gone amber, and the PC is trying to look into the VLAN database of the switch to see if VLAN 10 exists there. The moment it finds there VLAN 10, the one we've assigned to this interface, it will come back to normal. So let's come back to this other interface also and do the same, as this one is getting up. So this is FA0/5, like you can see. So let me come over here, I think you can see how f/1 has come back to normal. So I can come over here and I say, first of all, exit. I go back to the global configuration mode and I say interface range, and I'm selecting FA0/5 all the way to 8. Clear enough. So I press enter. Then I also say switch port mode. Then I first of all turn them into access ports. Switch port mode access. Then I say switch port, then access, and I say let them access VLAN 20. So you'll see this interface FA0/5 temporarily going amber as it is trying to look for that VLAN in our switch. Once it finds out that VLAN, then it will come to normal. Okay, so let's do the same for this other interface here over here. So this is FA0/10. So FA0/10, let me come back to my switch. So I exit this. Then I also say interface range. Then I say FA0/10 all the way to 13. That's enough. Then I say first of all switch port. Then I say mode. I first of all put them into mode access. Then I press enter. Then after that I can come and say switch port access. Then let me say let them access VLAN 30. Then I press enter. Okay, you can see how interface FA0/10 is also temporarily going down. Okay, now after it has identified that VLAN, then it will definitely come up. Meanwhile, let me do it this way. Let me first of all go back to the privileged mode or to the enable mode. And if I come over there, I've just pressed Ctrl+C and I say show VLAN brief and I hit enter. You can see that right now, instead of all the ports being under the default VLAN 1, we are currently having VLAN 10 having students as the name and having these interfaces, that is from FA0/1 to FA0/3 as the members of that VLAN. Likewise, VLAN 20 has ports FA0/5 all the way to FA0/8. Likewise, VLAN 30 has ports from FA0/10 to FA0/13. Now, after that, right now I'm done assigning these guys their respective VLANs. So I can just pick another PC, put it inside VLAN 10, for as long as I put it inside this range of mine, where I've assigned the respective ports to belong to VLAN 10. But right now, what I'm going to do to check out with you guys is, though all of these members are now onto the same switch like you can see, but they are logically separated. So members in VLAN 10 can only deal with members in VLAN 10, unless otherwise, as we shall be seeing as you go on. So we shall be advancing this topology as we go along, but probably as of now, let's give these members their IP addresses, then we check out communication between them. Okay, so this is in VLAN 10. Let me give him an IP address. So I come over to the desktop, IP configuration. I'm giving this an IP address of 192.168.10. Let me give this .2, and I will give them a default gateway of 192.168.10.1. But even if you don't put a default gateway as of now, no problem, we shall come back to that later. So I'm going to just copy this, then I'll come over here to PC2. This is in VLAN 20, don't forget. So I come to PC2 and then I give it an IP address, but instead of 210 I said this has 20, so /24, and then I can call this 20.1. I'll give that default gateway as of now. Should be improving it as you go along. So I can then close that, and then I also come over here, and then I can come and give it an IP address also. And since this is in VLAN 30, we said it is using 30 over here. So and it will take 30.1 as the default gateway. So we shall be dealing with those as we go ahead. But right now, when we try to send traffic to these guys over here, though they're onto the same switch, let me bring back my status panel over here, and I can pick a PDU from here, and the simple PDU, send it from here, and then come over here. You see, it actually fails. Even if I pair this again, it fails. Even if I pair it again, it fails. Okay. Yet these guys are onto the same switch, but right now they are logically separated. Unless we take a step ahead and then make them communicate. Probably we shall be doing that later. But right now, even if I pick a PDU and send it from this person to this person, that is, even if I try to communicate from faculty to guest, the communication can't happen. But let me show you something. If I get another PC over here, and I, for example, add it in VLAN 10. So I'm going to add this PC in VLAN 10, where the students, for the students VLAN. So I need to pick a cable over here. I pick a cable over here. I connect this PC, fast Ethernet. Remember, I gave 0/1 to 0/3. I gave it to VLAN 10. So I can assign VLAN, this interface first is 0/2 to that PC. So by default, it puts it definitely in VLAN 10. So let me give this an IP address as of now. So come over desktop, give it an IP address of 192.168.10. We gave out .2 to this PC, so I can give this a .3, and then I can come, give it a /24, and then I can give it a default gateway, the same as the one I gave to this PC, since they are all going to be in VLAN 10. Okay, so then I can close this, and I can do the same for this. But right now, let me delete this PDU so far shared. So if I pick a PDU from here and I send it from this PC to this PC, you realize that communication happens there and then perfectly well. Okay, now let me again pick another PDU. If I try to send it from here to any of these, they still fail. Okay, so but if I get another PC, for example, and I add it into VLAN 20, let me pick another PC over here. So I pick a PC, add it to VLAN 20. VLAN 20, so I pick a cable over here. So VLAN 20 is, we said it is from FA0/5 all the way to 8. So I can put this to 6. Then I give it an IP address. And then I can come over here to the desktop. I give it an IP address. This is 192.168.20. Let me give it .3. Okay, and then it is /24 with a default gateway of 20.1. So I can close that. Definitely, without a doubt, these two people are communicating without us even doing a lot of stuff onto our network. So I can communicate from here all the way to here with a lot of ease. Okay, with a lot of ease. So what I can do now, I can come over here and check out. You realize I can't communicate from here to here. Okay, I can't communicate. So, and now, but you know very well that I can now communicate between members of the same VLAN. Okay, but I can't communicate between members of different VLANs. Now, hold on with me. I am going to take this as a series. This has been just an introduction to VLANs. And you've seen how do you create these VLANs. We said you just come and say from the global configuration mode, you say VLAN, then you put the ID of the VLAN. Okay, then after that you say name, you give it a name of your choice. If you want to check out the VLAN that you have on your database for the switch, just come back to the privileged mode and then say show VLAN, then ref, and I hit enter. So it will show me the database of my VLANs. Okay, So hold on with me. Now in the next tutorial or in the next video, we shall be doing the same but very fast over this other switch over here. But it shall be enabling communication between members of this VLANs, members of the VLANs on this switch with the members on the VLANs of this switch, whereby you shall have to make these trunks so that we can have the transfer of traffic from multiple VLANs going through the same interface. Otherwise, as of now, thank you very much for watching, and let's catch up again next time soon. Looking forward to completing this together with you. Thank you. Bye bye for now.